One of the things we changed was kind of how we did our one-on-one drills, scaly, stuff like that. We decided to two-spot it this summer, which allowed a lot of younger guys to get a lot more reps, which kind of my philosophy was that, you know, you're going to expect and going to have some young guys make some plays for you this year. And the way Coach Pruitt brought kind of his practice system from Florida State was a very two-spot. A lot of guys are getting more reps now in practice and in how we did it in the summer. So a lot of times over the past couple of years I've been here, Scaly starts out and guys are energized and they're showing up. But by the end of the summer, it kind of gets lackadaisical, and guys that you're expecting to be there really don't show up and stuff, and kind of gets undisciplined. But this was by far the best year I've seen out of guys showing up. And I think that is because guys that usually weren't getting reps were getting reps now, so they were motivated to show up. And so, you know, we had 1s and 3s on one field, 2s and 4s on the other field. So, you know, guys were getting reps. Guys were seeing formations, getting plays, and that's how guys learn.
Did you say two spots? You use two different
yeah, so we would have the 1s and the 3s on one field, and then the 2s and 4s on another field, where in the past everybody would just be on one field.
Gotcha.
So.
What do you think of your new freshman wide receivers?
Yeah, they're definitely talented. You know, I think all of them are very, very bright guys. A lot of them were working with the 2s this summer, and so, you know, I'll definitely get a lot more reps with them during camp. But just, you know, as far as the eye test, I mean, talent's not an issue. It's just really for these guys, it's just picking up on the playbook. You know, when you look out there as a quarterback, you have all these guys that you know can make plays, but when you kind of look out there and you see a freshman, you're like, okay, you know, I know we've been over this, but all right, is he going to run what I expect him to run, you know, when I'm throwing this ball? And so it can get, it takes a lot of trust and a lot of reps, because it's different from in practice and when 90,000, you're thinking, man, what's going through this guy's head? Because I've been there, you know. So it just takes a lot of reps and a lot of trust. Kind of explaining to him, like, hey, man, this is how I want the route run versus this coverage, but also trying to get into his head and see how he's seeing things, how he sees coverages and understands them. And that's the hardest transition for guys coming in, especially receivers out of high school. Most of these guys are so talented, they just kind of run around and the guy throws them the ball. But when you get here, you know, we demand, since we're a pro-style offense, that guys understand coverages and understand how to run routes to a T. So that's the biggest challenge.
What's it been like for you? I mean, you've waited all this time, and now you're going to get your chance. What's your preparation been like, and your mindset been like as you get ready for this summer and this fall going forward?
Yeah, I think my preparation and my mindset has really been the same, and I say that because from day one I got here, I've always wanted to be the starting quarterback at UGA, and I quickly realized that you know, I was going to have to play second fiddle behind Aaron, so to speak, and so. But that never really changed my preparation. Now, was it always easy to come in here and prepare when I knew I wasn't going to get reps, or I knew the outcome really wasn't going to change? That was always very mentally challenging, and it was very hard. And some days I didn't want to do it. But I think why I'm ready is because all those days leading up to this point, I always made a decision I'm going to get better, and it was day by day, day by day. And if I would have taken off the last 4 years or taken off a year, you know, I wouldn't be where I am mentally in the playbook, physically. So I think it's accumulation of day by day. I chose, you know, I may not be working for my reward right now, but I know it's in the future, and that future is now the present right now. So it wasn't always easy, but, you know, I tried to focus on there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and people's what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunity may be different than you know, the guy next to you. The guy next to you may get every opportunity in the world, but you may only get one shot. And if you make the most out of that one shot, then you're going to get another shot and another shot. And so that's what I always tried to do. I always tried to, in practice, make the most of my reps and gain that trust and stuff out of my players and coaches.
I've heard do your best every day from a bunch of people now.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the mindset going into this camp this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of gets cliche. You know, we say probably in sports just in general, the word "do your best" or "hey, come on, man," stuff like that gets cliche, and especially during camp, it gets so routine and you do kind of the same thing over and over every day that I'm not going to show up every day with 100% enthusiasm. It's it's hard for expect guys to show up when their bodies are hurting, but that's the part of building a team, building that chemistry is like, hey man, I'm the leader of this team and so are other guys, but there's going to be some days where I'm not going to feel like being here and I'm going to need the senior leaders to pick me up. And there's going to be days where I feel like I want to be here and maybe Chris Conley, I can tell, doesn't want to be here. And that's a part of accountability, and that's what we're trying to preach here is, the seniors, we want this to be a player-led team, not a coaches-led team, because that isn't all where how championship teams win, because they're motivated by the leaders and by the seniors on the team and not by the coaches. And we were here last year, and then we were here in the summer, and now we're here. I mean, it's I think the Navy SEAL, what we did with the Navy SEALs this summer was absolutely awesome. It helped me step out of my shell even more as far as how to communicate with guys, and it helped guys like Marlo and Ramit, guys who really aren't that vocal of leaders. It helped them step out and realize, like, man, we got offense and we got defense, but we also need leaders on that side of the ball. We need leaders on the offensive side of the ball, and then there's that team unity. So just stuff like that. Like I said, it's awesome. Like I was telling Coach Rick the other day, to see where our team has come as far as leadership and dependability and stuff like that. Yeah, that was frustrating. I found out about that last night. It happened when me and Malcolm were working out here on Monday. It was just me and him, and he looked great. We were working on some slant routes, and I guess from talking to him last night, he said that the last slant route we ran, it was just the way he planted on it on that fifth step. And I asked him if he knew right away that something was wrong. He was like, yeah, I knew something was wrong. He was like, I was about to keep going. And that's just the kind of guy Malcolm is. I went and saw him in the hotel last night, and he has his leg propped up and ice on it. He's definitely frustrated just from talking to him. A couple of guys went in there and prayed for him, and I think this is his fourth injury. I tried to just go in there and encourage him, and he was pretty upbeat as far as saying, he knows he's going to be back. But he made a good point. He's like, I'm not doing anything different than I have over the first 2 years. In the first 2 years, he was pretty healthy. So I think for anybody at that point, it's kind of mental, stuff like that you can't prevent, really. It's just kind of the anatomy of the body. You really just hope and pray that guys stay healthy. And so luckily it's, not another ACL injury, so it's definitely a shorter process and recovery time. But, you feel bad for the kid. You really do.
Got time for one more? You want to talk about wearing your bus back there?
Yeah. This is something I'll be wearing a lot this year to just represent my buddy Philip Blusenkirchen, who died this summer from Auburn University. Played tight end and went to high school with him. One of my best buddies. Philip, actually, quick story, just kind of why it means a lot is that, me and Philip probably communicated once a month, and he contacted me the night before he died. So he died on a Saturday night, late Saturday night, and he reached out to me Friday night via text message and was just like, hey man, how you doing? How's summer going? And I hadn't heard from him in a month, and I was like, man, it's good to hear from you, bud. And he was basically just like, I'm rooting for you. I know good things come to those who wait. I'm praying for you, man. And he was like, I know I'm an Auburn guy, but I wouldn't admit this in public, but I'm throwing him under the bus right now. But sorry, man. He said, I'll definitely be rooting for you all the way this year. And just to have that last conversation before somebody goes out is, I got chills thinking about it right now. But it's just awesome, to know that, I got that last kind of word in with him, and also kind of his last goodbye as to this season. And I'm very thankful for that last conversation that the Lord allowed me to have with him. And so that's, I'll be wearing this pin a lot this year, and I'll be thinking about him a lot, and just out of representing him and everything that our relationship meant.